Alright everybody, it's another Tuesday dump. I'm actually at the terminal on a weekend right now. We got a new train that's going to be getting in the truck with us. So, of course, cleaning it up. But I clean it up every weekend, so because I'm amazing. But we're at the terminal, cleaning up the truck, and I figured, you know what? I'm going to cover a topic that I've heard from guys when I worked in the office and out on the road. Tons of times people are always asking, you know, what GPS should I get? What GPS is the best? You know, would you recommend a GPS? And honestly, to tell you the truth, if your company already provides you with one, say like at TMC, how we have the Dremel system, I don't see the point. I don't understand why guys are dropping $200 to $500 for your GPS when you have it available. I mean, at TMC, we have the Dremel system. It has navigation on it. Now, am I going to say that it's the best navigation? No navigation is the best navigation when it comes to trucks. With cars go everywhere. Trucks, we're limited to where we can and can't go. So I figured what I'm going to do in this week's video is I'm going to teach you guys how to trip plan. You can use this anywhere. Honestly, you can use it while you're driving truck, or you can use it while you're driving your car. And yeah, we're going to roll that sweet intro and get this thing started. Alright, first off, real quick, to start off this video, thank you to everybody that tunes in on a weekly basis and watches my Tuesday dump videos and watches my vlogs on this channel, LawfulGiraffe. I appreciate it, appreciate the support, and thank you. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to the LG family. Yeah. Hey, you ain't gotta subscribe, it helps me if you do, but hey, you're one of us now, so that's pretty awesome. So thank you to you for watching the video, I guess. But anyways, like I said, in this week's video, we're going to talk about trip planning, how I trip plan, and different ways that I recommend. Now, real quick caveat to all of this. This is simply based on if your company gives you a GPS. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If you're going to a truck company and they don't give you any kind of GPS, who the hell are you working for, honestly? I feel like that's something that should really be provided to their drivers. It's, you know, it's 2020, right? Technology. The TMC, they give us, we have the Dremel system now, and the Dremel system has a navigation on it. And I hear from guys, you know, oh, the Navgo sucks. When we had the Qualcomm navigation sucked too. But that's the thing about these navigation systems. They are a tool. They're just an extra means to help you out as a driver. Navigation is a big thing when it comes to driving. When I went to truck school, it was something that they emphasized a lot on. We spent a lot of time reading and learning how to use atlases. You gotta use, obviously, a truck atlas. You can't use a car atlas. I know when you come to TMC, that's something that they tell guys, hey, you need to get an atlas. And I 100% agree, because technology, for as good as it is, it does tend to sometimes not work, go down, have issues. And having a map is very important. All right, so I found out that I can record my screen. So what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm actually going to use the current load that I have now that we're going to be delivering on Monday to show you guys how to trip plan. There's no, I don't think, super secret squirrel or anything kind of, I don't know, whatnot. But so as you can see on my screen, this where it says drop, this is what we're dropping. All right, this is where we're going to first thing on Monday. Now this is about 741 miles away from here, so it's a bit of a haul on a Sunday, but no big deal. And there's a couple things that you'll notice. Obviously, one, the address as to where we're delivering this load to, and then down here there's a section, and at least in our app, TMC app, there's directions. These are local directions that customers give the drivers who say, hey, this is the way that you want to bring your truck in, right? These are supposed to be a surefire way to know if you can actually drive on these roads. It is very rare. There are some times, I've only had a few times, where the customer notes were actually outdated. Especially like New York City. Oh boy, New York City, man, let me tell you. But so this is where it's saying that we need to go. Now, first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna plug that into my navigation, or my Navgo on my Dremel. and I'm gonna look to see if it matches up with obviously what the customer notes say, right? Now that's not every time. Obviously, that's one of the I wouldn't say flaws, but that's one of the things. You can't program all your customers because there's so many customers. You can't program all of their directions into the Navgo on the Dremel. Bigger customers, obviously they do, but with smaller customers like this, it's just sometimes you can't. It's whatever. What I like to do is I like to take the address, and when I take the address, I like to put it in Google Map, right? So that's what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna take the address and I'm gonna put it in Google Map, and I've actually already put it in there. So perfect. So I'm gonna hit that. All right, and now as you can see from Google Map on my phone, this is the customer that we're delivering to. Now, a cool thing is too, is they also have parking. That was also something else that you guys might have noticed on the app, but they have parking. So the goal is to obviously get there tomorrow night, get there Sunday night. So you're parked up, well rested first thing in the morning, you have your full 10 hours done. So you got a full clock ready to go in the morning, right? This is what you want to shoot for, obviously. And then all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit the directions button because I want directions. And then I am going to click work, which is the terminal. All right. And then of course you're seeing a whole bunch of stuff on the app, or on Google Map, you're seeing a whole bunch of stuff. Big thing, again, Google Map is not designed for trucks. That is actually designed for cars. All right, it has cars in mind, obviously. One of the things that I like about using Google Map is, one, I can see a bigger picture, I can see traffic. As you see, there's actually a symbol down here for a car accident. We're not leaving until tomorrow, so I ain't gotta worry about that. But it's gonna show you a couple different options as far as how to get to the customer. And it shows you some other things. Now, a big thing, again, truck drivers. Obviously, we can drive on interstates, right? Interstates are made for trucks, all that good stuff. So I already know when I'm looking at this, I see this is a majority of interstate driving, obviously. I'm going through Indianapolis. We're gonna take 70 into Ohio to Columbus, and then we're gonna take 71 up. I'm gonna take 71 for a while, 271 to 90. Again, these are all interstates, so I know that I can drive my truck on it. Plus, I've been on these a bajillion times. And we're gonna take 90 all the way in New York, go through Buffalo. That's a fun drive. Take 90, 90, 90, 90, 90, do. All right, now, this is where we're getting into some rough areas. Again, Google Map is not made for trucks. So at this point, this may or may not be truck friendly. That is a big thing you guys have to pay attention. Now, when I'm looking on here on Google Map, I'm also looking on my Dremel, and when I'm looking at my Dremel, I'm seeing that if it's gonna connect to the customer notes, right? So I'm gonna zoom in and whatnot, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the app real quick. So it's saying take New York 29 west to County Route Road 151, turn left approximate 1 mile on the right hand side. So again, I'm gonna go back over here. So as you see, we zoom in and we're looking on here. Now here's the big thing, right? We have the customer notes that say to come off 29 on the 151. However, it is not telling us how to get from the interstate to 29. All right, that's one of those things where you're gonna have to figure that out as a driver. Some guys will argue that's where a truck GPS comes into play, but $500 just to figure that out, let's do it on our own, right? One of the things you can do is if you have an atlas, which is again highly recommended, when you look on a Randy McNally atlas, it will tell you in the front section what restricted roads are. So obviously you look at the atlas, look for, we're in New York State, so you're gonna look to see in the New York State column, do we have any restricted roads? Is any of this restricted? From looking at what I've found, right, we're coming off the interstate, off of 90, we're getting on 169, and we're taking 169 to 167. And you look on here when we zoom in, right, this right here, this road, what's it, Docky Road, it's not truck friendly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna stay on 167. 167 takes me all the way up through 167 takes me all the way up to 29. 29, all right. The customer notes say to come off of 29, so we know 29 is truck friendly. So we're gonna jump on 29, We'll take 29 all the way down. Boop. To 151, which again, customer notes say to turn onto 151. Take 151 down, and boom, there's a customer on our right-hand side. That's where a lot of guys get into some issues when they're getting close to the customers. So where things get a little sketchy, especially if you're going to big cities like New York City, you're going to Chicago, stuff like that. You don't want to just follow GPS blindly. Now, I get it, Randy McNally, Garmin or whatever, they might be phenomenal, but again, you never follow GPS blindly. You always double check everything that you do. So with that being said, if you're gonna always check, you double check your GPS, what's the point of buying another GPS, right? Use what the company gave you. There's no point in spending extra money. Again, I discourage buying a GPS, but you always want to double, triple check everything that you're doing. So like I said, I'm looking on Google Maps. Another reason why I use Google Maps is it has a satellite view, so I can see a picture or an idea of what I'm about to get myself into. And again, it also gives me traffic, all that good stuff, so I can see if there's any traffic. Now, I've looked at that, I see that, all right, I can't completely follow Google Map. There's a point where I'm gonna have to kind of turn off, do my own thing, right? So, but now I get an idea, I see what I need to do. I need to adjust and take 167 north to get onto 29 and take 29 down to get to the customer. All right, so I've seen that, that's what I'm gonna do. Now that I have double checked the customer notes against Google Map and I see the big picture with Google Map, next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna double check on my Tremble, and I'm gonna just make sure that I'm doing the same thing on the Tremble. All right, so let's tap this. All right, so here's the Tremble. What I did is I just zoomed it out, right? I just center on myself, zoom in, just like any other GPS. I'm gonna zoom out, and now we already said that we're gonna be jumping on the interstate. So what I'm gonna do is actually right here, let's zoom in a little. All right, I'm gonna jump on the interstate. I'm not gonna take this road. There's a whole bunch of lights. There's no point in taking that road. Just jump on the interstate. And we're gonna take the interstate over. All right, going through Indianapolis, just like we saw on Google Map. This is all interstate driving right here. We're jumping on 70. Let's zoom it out. All right, taking 70. Just like we said on Google Map. We're gonna drive around, jump on 71. Again, just like we said on Google Map. 271 to 90. Right, and then we're taking 90 all the way through New York again. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom in. Now, a couple things. Notice how this looks different than what we saw on Google Map, right? Obviously, it's a tool. You need to double check, triple check, make sure that everything is correct. Now, when we zoom in, and I know from personal experience, because I've delivered in this area before, I know that you can get on 5, right? So you can jump on 5 right here. The thing about 5 is 5 is going to take you through some small towns. There's going to be a lot of street lights, all that good stuff, right? So what I can do, again, is I'm going to have to adjust on my own, because that's what we do as a driver. I'm going to actually come down to this exit right here, 29A, which is often 90 in New York. I'm gonna take that up on 169. There's less lights and I'll have to go through the small towns like I did if I took 5. I'm gonna turn right, because this is 167, as you guys can see. Now, remember how we said we couldn't take the Docky Road, Docky Street or whatever. See, it doesn't take Docky Street because it's not truck friendly. So it actually keeps us on 167. Just like we readjusted when we looked at Google Map, 167, oh, look at that, 29. Now, you gotta be careful. See, right here real quick, it tried to turn us on this road, but we know the customer notes say to take 29 to 151. So I'm gonna bypass that. I'm gonna come down here to 151, and then the customer's gonna be like somewhere in here, all right? And now, that's the thing is, this isn't showing me exactly where the buildings are, right? That's why I use Google Map, because in Google Map, I saw the satellite view, so I know what I'm looking for from the satellite view. And that's why I use Google Maps with the NavGo. All right, so I have a good idea. I know there's a couple adjustments. Now some of the things that you guys can do to help you with those situations, right? With the customer notes. One of the things that I used to do, especially when I was new, right? We actually learned it in the Army, but whenever I had to drive anywhere, especially when you're new, private and stuff, you get to drive a lot. What I would do is I would actually take the notes, the turns and all that stuff, and I would actually write it on the front windshield. So one of the things you could do, and I did when I was a new driver, I would get a dry erase marker, and then I would write the directions right up here in the corner. So then that way I knew all I had to do was just get me to the start point of the local directions, and then I could just, everything was written right here. That's how I do trip planning. So once I get dispatched, let's recap real quick. So once I get dispatched, I take the notes that TMC sends me, local directions, all that good stuff. I plug it into Google Map. I get a good bird's eye view of what I'm gonna be driving. And then what I'll do is I'll take local directions, make sure I match it up with Google Maps again so I can see what I'm getting myself into, right? Google Maps is just a tool, it's not the end all. Once I've looked at the satellite view from Google Maps, see what I'm getting myself into, then I double check with the NavGo system that I have on the Dremel, and then I just look to see, you know, the long route, interstates, all that stuff. And then I look to see if my NavGo matches up with that. Now, if everything is matching up and everything is just jiving with the local directions, then I know that I can just follow that. Now again, technology does like to break on you. Sometimes technology likes to go down on you. So that's again why I highly encourage that you write your local directions down either in the corner of your window, if that works best for you, or also I keep a notebook and then I'll jot down local directions in the notebook. So that way I can take a quick glance, you know, just look at the notes, make sure, hey, I'm in the right direction, I'm going the right way. How I do it, that's how I've been doing it for 6 years. I've never bought another navigation system. I've never seen the point in using another navigation system. Whether you are a big fan, love or hate the NavGo that's in the Dremel, the Qualcomm, or whatever navigation system your company gives you, just know that it's a tool, it's not the end all. You never want to follow that stuff blindly. I mean, you probably see it on Facebook all the time, guys that are hitting low bridges, stuff like that. They're following their GPS blindly. They're not actually trip planning. So that's why trip planning is always important. You will learn that when you're new, the day that you decide not to trip plan something that you've never been to. Obviously, once you start going to a customer a lot, then you know where to go, so you don't have to trip plan. That's how I trip plan. Hopefully you guys found this video useful. If you did find this video useful, please hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. That helps me out, it helps this channel out, and it helps me to open up this channel hopefully soon to more tools and more things that I'll have. Yeah. And then down in the comments, do you have any tips? Do you have any tricks? Do you have anything that you want to add? Anything that you think I could say differently, do differently in this Tuesday dump? Let me know. I'm more than willing to add in your guys' suggestions, what you guys do, and yeah, let's help out new drivers. It's a big thing, but other than that, man, men and ladies, that's it. This is this week's Tuesday dump. Catch you guys next week.